Hello, and welcome to the Spoilercast, the show where we talk about movies, and we don't care about spoiling them. My name is Tobias, and with me, as always, is my sister and trusted co-host, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. And as I said in the now deleted opening of the show, if you want to hear even more episodes of this show, if you like this show, which I know some people do at least, you should check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene.
That sounded horrible.
Little self-deprecating joke there. But this is not a Patreon episode, as I first thought it was. This is a regular episode. So today we're going to talk about a movie I never thought was going to happen, and even when it was happening, I didn't really think, anyone would ever care about it. But, well, as we'll talk about, I think some people do. Either way, today's episode we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. Yay! Yay! That's what you usually do. Sorry, we had to scrap the first intro for this show because it was too messy, according to Rebecca.
It got a little bit weird.
Yeah, but yeah, we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons, the new Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yes,
which
apparently there are older ones as well.
Yeah, you didn't know this at all?
Not really, no, not until you told me.
No, I guess they were the first one was such a disgrace. I guess to try to erase it off the internet or something.
Well, that never works.
No, of course it doesn't work. I mean, I own it on DVD. It will always exist.
Is it
They'll
the one
never
from
take it from me.
83?
No. I think that might be the
2005?
TV show. No, it's 2000.
2000?
Yeah. Starring Jimmy Olsen from the Lois and Clark show.
Oh. That dude. Barely remember him.
Yeah. That should be the
Oh,
third.
there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
How was that the last thing that came up?
No. I looked past the title card because there were images just below it from it. So I was like, that's not the same. I just skipped it for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that poster before.
Yeah.
But that's not the one we're talking about. We're talking about 2023.
Yeah. The new one.
New one.
Starring Chris Pine and what's her name? Rodriguez. Michelle Rodriguez, yes, thank you. Michelle.
And Hugh Grant.
Sophia
Justice
Lillis?
Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, and Sophia Lillis.
Yeah.
A bunch of random people that I sort of recognize but can't really place.
Oh my god! I just looked at the Metascore. I haven't looked up anything about this movie. I think
me neither.
That's like my new strategy to not even look at anything. Usually I just look at. I don't want to get any spoilers. But we're doing a spoiler cast.
Yeah, we don't want to get spoilers about what people think about it too much, right?
No, exactly.
Because we want to have our own opinions.
Yeah, I usually look at the IMDb and stuff like that. But recently on my other podcast, it's been more fun because we're in the thick of Nicolas Cage's worst period. The early 2010s. Yeah, where I haven't seen almost anything before, so I'm discovering all these new crap diamonds. And it's more fun to not knowing anything about the movies, not even looking up a poster. And I've been kind of doing that with our new movies as well here on this podcast, especially last week because I didn't want to know anything about John Wick 4 before I watched that. And I guess I did the same with this without even thinking about it. I didn't know anything about this before going into it, other than what I knew from years ago when they talked about making a new Dungeons and Dragons movie. We'll get to that. But I just saw the Metascore. It has a 75.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And not to spoil the rest of this conversation, I kind of agree.
I can understand why, at least. I'm not sure I agree.
Okay, so let's get into it then, because we don't need to talk about the plot. Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? It's pretty damn close to
whatever that would be like.
A regular but well told adventure, basically.
Yeah, it's very formulaic when it comes to classic adventures.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah. Well, I just want to hear them because of what you said. What did you think of Dungeons and Dragons? Honor Among Thieves.
I thought it was fine. It was I kind of like it because I like the fantasy bit. I've missed movies and TV shows and anything really that has the magic and warriors and dragons and stuff.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Chris Pine's quippiness. I can't stand him. He's too much.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm tired of his spiel. I'm done. Can he just not play the same character over and over again?
Then I have... I'm not going to start... Okay, sorry. Yes, okay.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, sure. Yes, exactly. Yes.
And some of the other characters were also a bit annoying, but in overall, it's a fine movie. It's entertaining.
Yeah?
But that's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
What did you think?
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I gave it a 3 on Letterboxd last night. Because I didn't, I tried to be conservative with my points, but now seeing what people are giving in general, like, I would be comfortable giving it 3.5. No, because it's just like, yes, that is part of, since it's social media like that, you're kind of like, well, I can't give this a 4-star. What if people read my review,
Oh my God.
A little bit of that goes into it. I gotta be honest.
We're supposed to be independent reviewing here. We only do what we think.
I know.
We don't care about others' opinions.
usually, if I change my reviews, it's after our conversations. I guess I can use that as an excuse to change it then later. No, I like I said to you last night when we briefly talked about it, because we usually try to save our conversation for this. It had everything I wanted.
Yeah.
It had dungeons.
Exactly.
It had dragons. Hey, I'm fine. I'm good. Literally, because I'm the same way. I love like generic fantasy.
Yes.
Movies, which we don't get a lot of. I had like a period a couple of years ago when I had another, not podcast, but like live streaming show, when we talked about, we had like random movie topics for, talk about every week or whenever. And one of the episodes I had an idea for, which we never did, because we kind of scrapped that show a little while later, was like, there are so few. That was not specifically fantasy. It was why are there so few dragons in movies?
Oh, we've talked about it. That
yeah,
too,
we have talked about it. Yes,
whichever episode that was.
Yeah, we probably mentioned it in when we did House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, that was probably it. Yeah,
on the TV cast spin-off of this. And if there is a dragon, it's something very specific. Know, it's not just some warriors and a princess and a wizard goes to fight a dragon. Like, it's something specific.
It's a villain, or it's the last dragon, or it's a boss fight of some sort.
Yeah, it's something that makes it somewhat niche.
Yes,
it's never just generic action fantasy.
Yeah,
like the closest we got to that was like in the 80s when they did all the what's it called? Sword and sorcery movies.
Yes. Oh,
we had like Deathstalker or even like Conan, even though that is a little bit specific.
Sure.
But that is more towards the like generic fantasy thing.
And there's no dragons in it.
No, there's no not any specific dragons in that. But I mean it's a more general fantasy setting.
Yes.
But like that kind of, first of all, that genre kind of died out because it was always like mid-budget, and you can't make a fantasy movie on a I mean, you can, but then it's going to be smaller. There's not going to be any dragons,
No.
So that genre kind of died out, and then we didn't really have fantasy movies until Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
But that was like a big, expensive like spectacle.
Oh yeah.
But it also was very specific. Once again, it was very niche because it was the Lord of the Rings. It was something special, but it was, the first time in a long time, since Conan, where fantasy was taken seriously. And then after that, we got some fantasy movies trying, famously, or infamously, I suppose, the first Dungeons and Dragons movie came out like the same year or the year before, even. I think. But it flopped. Like fantasy flops.
Yeah. I mean, we've had like, I guess, Willow and like Dragonheart and stuff like that.
Yeah, but once again, those are more specific. Dragonheart is about a talking dragon.
Yeah,
Willow,
true.
Willow is I don't know. It's hard to explain what generic fantasy means.
Yeah.
In a short sentence. That's why I'm floundering here so much. But yeah, also after Lord of the Rings, nobody like tried to do fantasy again on that level because you can't top the Lord of the Rings.
No, not really.
And even in later years when they've kind of tried, no movies really managed to top Lord of the Rings. Not even the other Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies managed to.
No.
I mean, the Hobbit movies.
Didn't have the same magic.
No, exactly.
Which we also talked about in episodes.
Yes, we probably in the Lord of the Rings episodes.
Yeah.
From
last winter or something?
Two winters ago. 2021.
But yeah.
But yeah,
but this one
though. So I was when I first, because I heard that there were rumors about this movie a long time ago, like 5 years ago or something. I think, and maybe I'm making that up. And there were talk about like who was gonna. There was like no one. They had no people involved in it except for rumors that Joe Manganiello was gonna write it because he's like a big D&D nerd in real life.
Right.
Yeah. That was about it. And then nothing more. And then out of nowhere, the trailer appeared last year. And I was like, what? What is this? I don't even know where I was going with that.
No, but now we finally have, this is like the first generic-ish fantasy we've had, or what do you call it? Sword and sorcery. Yeah.
Yes, that was where I was going with this. We finally have a generic fantasy movie, but it's big budget, so you can actually do all the things you need to make a generic fantasy movie fun.
Yeah.
You have the budget for, you can make dragons and you can make big action scenes and things like that. And I think they nailed it. For what it is, it wasn't perfect, but it was great.
No. Yes, sure.
Also, I just want to say, going back to your spiel about Chris Pine.
Chris Pine?
Yeah. When was the last time you saw him quipping? If you think about it.
I guess perhaps Star Trek.
Yeah, that's 7-8 years ago.
Sure.
I'm just saying. Because I was thinking, maybe Wonder Woman 1984, but not really.
A little bit, but yeah, not.
So I'm
I don't know, that's just what he used to do, I suppose, and I haven't seen him in much since.
No, that's the thing, you haven't seen him in much, because he's done smaller things, like we talked about last night. I
saw him in Don't Worry Darling, where he was a completely different character, obviously, but it didn't really... I did clock, but like I didn't react like, oh, but that's Chris Pine, which I did in this one. It's like, oh yeah, that's just Chris Pine.
Yeah.
Don't Worry Darling, he is the character. In this one,
he is more of what you...
Edgin?
Edgin.
He was Chris Pine, he wasn't the character.
Yes, he was more the Chris Pine you remember from, Star Trek,
early
horrible, what is it, Horrible Bosses 2?
Yeah.
I guess movies like that. And I mean, if you want to go back even further to his, like, teeny bopper movies or whatever. Just My Luck, I suppose. I haven't seen that one.
Yes.
He was in some other movie where...
That's a great one, though.
Not the John guy
Princess
has to
Diaries.
Die. Yeah.
He's in, like... Well, that's actually one of his first ones.
Isn't it John Something Has to Die? Or something like that?
No, he's not in the one John Tucker Has to Die. He's not in that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But no, it's the Princess Diaries, and it's Just My Luck, and Star Trek, and
But then,
This Means War as well from 2012.
Yeah, this means war. Yeah, he was still, the cool guy, you know?
Yes.
But he kind of, for me, that changed in 2016 when he made Hell or High Water. And I was like, oh, look, he can actually act. Like, he's not just, you know, the cool guy. And then,
so he's not the cool guy with the mustache and like he's kind of strong and fights people in that one?
In Hell or High Water?
Yeah.
No, he's like an introverted, like, grumpy guy who wants to rob banks to save his mother.
He looks pretty cool in the poster.
Oh yeah, he is awesome, but he's not like, hey, I'm Chris Pine. He's not that Chris Pine.
Fine.
Have you seen Hell or High Water?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's one of the best movies ever made. We should do that one sometime.
Sure, add it to the list.
Yeah.
A non-existent one.
Yeah. And then, you know, he's done a bunch of, like, random stuff. Like, he's obviously done some more big budget stuff. Like, he did Star Trek Beyond just like after that. Then he made Wonder Woman the year after. Like a Wrinkle in Time. But then, you know, he tried some other stuff. He did some TV. He did Outlaw King, which was a different movie. He's done some voice work, done some TV stuff. He kind of, it feels like he moved away from his typecast a little bit.
Sure, I just haven't seen it.
Yeah,
because I didn't see those movies.
Yeah, he was in The Contractor, which was okay. And then, of course, Don't Worry, Darling. Yeah, honestly, I think people think of him a certain way. Like, oh, he's only in this type of movie. But I think it's more that, you know, he does a lot of different movies, but maybe he doesn't have the greatest range. So you kind of recognize him as Chris Pine more than the characters he's playing.
Yeah.
Not really, you know, I don't want to knock him. I think he's a good actor.
He's not bad. It's just whenever he's playing a quippy character, you just go, "Oh, Chris Pine."
Yeah,
we've seen this. Can you do something else?
But
I just don't.
Here, I thought it was. I mean, it was perfect for the part.
No one else except for perhaps Ryan Reynolds could have played that part because you need to have that little bit of.
If you want to talk about someone who's only playing the same character.
Yeah, no,
Ryan Reynolds. But unlike Chris Pine, he does it in every movie. And every movie is the same. And he is in every movie as well.
Yeah.
I am so tired of Ryan Reynolds. Even when he's doing like this fucking I don't know what you call it, reality show, Welcome to Wrexham. I don't know if you've heard of it. Him and Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny.
Football team he bought?
Yeah, he bought a football team.
All right.
He's. I mean, obviously, either
he's hamming it up, or that's who he is.
Yeah, either he is that way in real life, which is like
wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
That would be annoying in the long run, I think. Or he's hamming it up even when he's supposed to be himself, and then it's just like, oh my god, bro. We get you have an image to protect. I get it, but calm down.
You have your at-home personality and outside personality.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, so for me, Chris Pine was perfect in this role because it is. I would almost say this is like primarily a comedy, like an adventure comedy.
Adventure comedy, definitely.
Yeah. So to have him be the kind of silly one, because he is definitely like the one with the most that they make the most fun of.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't have any talents.
That's the thing, though, as he points out, and I think that's they make fun of like he is the leader character, the de facto leader character, which means he doesn't have any specific skills. But that's the whole point, and we should talk a little bit about that, because I don't know if they realized that when they wrote the movie. I'm sure they did.
They did. They definitely did.
But yeah, the fact that none of this would have happened without him, even though he seems to do nothing at all. That's the whole point of a leader.
Yes.
He brings out the best in people. That's what you need a leader for.
A leader leads.
That's what a conductor does. It's not just standing up there waving. if the orchestra just played the music, it wouldn't work because they need to follow someone.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I'm sorry.
I know.
Watch Tar. She might be a problematic character, but she's not wrong when she talks about conducting.
Very different from Dungeons and Dragons,
yes.
though.
Sorry, yes. I don't even know. What are we talking about?
No, but you're trying to justify or I suppose argue my dislike of Chris Pine.
Yeah, because his character works perfectly.
No, it does.
And I can actually take him seriously when I need to, unlike with Ryan Reynolds.
He does have his moments, even in this film, but I'm still not 100%... Like, I don't like the kind of character he is in this movie, and I don't like when he specifically plays those kinds of characters.
All right. So you would prefer, like, Ryan Reynolds in this?
No, God, no.
Oh, well, who would you like?
I don't know. I don't know. Because everyone I can think of is generally just a arrogant asshole. So, which this character is at points. So
no, it's not arrogant.
You need someone who's arrogant, or it won't work. It doesn't work for the character.
You need someone who's a little bit full of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like those kinds of people in general. So I won't like them no matter who they are.
Okay.
I suppose. So it's more the character, I guess, than the actor, but it doesn't help that I'm so used to seeing the actor playing those kinds of characters.
Sure.
Round it up. Every other character, I mean, I have slightly the same issue with Michelle Rodriguez always playing the strong lady who just fights everyone and doesn't really say much or do much else.
She's extremely typecast.
Yes.
Once again, because she doesn't have great range.
No.
But she has the physicality and she has the attitude.
Oh, yeah.
So.
She looks badass.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of tired of it. Like, I've seen you do this now. Branch out. Do something else, maybe.
But why do you want her to do something else?
I don't know. I want to see if she can do it.
But we know she can't.
Maybe
no offense to Michelle Rodriguez, but we know that this is what she's good at. Like, I don't want to see her do anything else. Like, do you remember the quote-unquote tender moments from Fast and Furious? It's just awkward when they try to be like... True. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
She did do fine here, though, when she had her little meeting her ex.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't remember his name.
Miriam.
Yeah, but what's the actor's name?
Bradley Cooper.
Right, yes, Bradley Cooper.
Cameo. Hey, speaking of actor with range, he was almost unrecognizable here.
Oh yeah,
which is
not
fun
just because he was tiny.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird, but funny detail.
Yeah, he. I think they're supposed to, because they're not hobbits. I think they're halflings, which is basically based off of hobbits. Because a lot of Dungeons and Dragons is just Tolkien's like world building.
Oh yeah, I mean, isn't Dungeons and Dragons just a combination of all kinds of fantasies that you can like find and just throw every single type of character in there?
Yeah, Gary Gygax and some friends like made up their own like game back in the like late 60s or early 70s, and it was from them reading Lord of the Rings. That's why you have orcs in it, but like because orcs wasn't a thing before Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
And why you have like they changed hobbits to halflings, and that's why they have elves and all that stuff comes from Tolkien. Sure. Yeah.
But then they added some other stuff as well, like owlbears and tieflings or tieflings or whatever they're called.
Obviously, it's been expanded upon since then. Yeah. But yeah, going back to Bradley Cooper, because he also has like he has his like serious movie thing he does.
Yes.
When he does movies like I don't know, Silver Linings Playbook. I guess that's more of a comedy though, so he's kind of you know what I mean. But then he has this like, hey, I'm in a comedy kind of movie. Like the Hangover movies or fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, oh, it's Bradley Cooper. Yeah. But then in this one, he was just like, he was so like mild mannered. He switched his voice up, so it sounded more like this.
It was very meek.
Yeah. Which
is so unusual.
It was a little bit unusual for him, but even more unusual that like because it was literally a cameo. He's in the movie for 3 minutes.
Yeah, he's not listed.
No, he's in one scene. So usually then it's a cameo, and then it's like, oh, look, Bradley Cooper is making a cameo, so he's gonna play basically Bradley Cooper, but in a fantasy movie. Yeah. But no, he played an actual character. I was like,
yes.
Whoa! That was, that's what I think, you know.
It was a pleasant surprise.
Yes, it was a pleasant surprise. So it wasn't just, you know, going back to Ryan Reynolds. It wasn't just Ryan Reynolds in A Million Ways to Die in the West when he's like, hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds, and then he gets shot.
No.
Yeah. He played an actual character, even though he was only in it for one scene.
Yeah. It was a good scene, though.
Yeah.
Because it gave
Holga
obviously to show a little bit more of emotion. Because either she's fighting, eating potatoes, being obvious, or quiet.
Yeah. That's
about it.
Yeah. That's also something they nailed pretty well with this. Now, I'm not a Dungeons & Dragons expert. I mean, literally Dungeons & Dragons, I think I've played twice. But I have played a lot of other role-playing games, like similar fantasy role-playing games, or like sci-fi or horror. Role-playing games in general I've played. Not a lot, but more than a general person. Yeah. But I'm not on the same level as, you know.
Once?
Yeah. But you liked it, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. It was with me. Anyway,
of course. Who else?
So I have some knowledge, not specifically about Dungeons & Dragons then, but I have some knowledge about like how you put together like a group of players and what, you know, the different elements you put into a campaign or just a one-off adventure to make it fun. And unlike other role-playing game movies, which I guess, there's only the Dungeons & Dragons movies, they fucking nailed it.
Well,
with having like smaller scenarios, not making it like the end of the world is at stake here. Like it's smaller stakes,
just
even though they kind of made it a little bigger towards the end, but it was fine.
Yeah, and they solved it pretty quickly though, so it's
very
fine.
Yeah, and not just when it comes to like role playing scenarios, like movies like this in general. At least in the last few years, we haven't had too many, but we've had a few. Rogue One comes to mind, which is basically a role-playing adventure.
Yes. Because
they have all the different characters. They have a clear goal.
I have a theory I'm going to tell you after you're done with this. But yes, go on.
I just want to mention that the guy who had the story idea for that movie, which is... He actually works for ILM to make the effects for Star Wars movies, but he was like, I have an idea.
Oh.
He's a big role-playing fan, so that makes sense.
He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like... Those movies have not nailed it, first and foremost, because you have a group of characters that are like, oh, they're so different, and all these weird personalities and everything, like people playing role games. But there's only like one or maybe two characters that actually get to do anything. The other ones are just there because you need a group.
Yeah, and they maybe do something once.
Yeah,
push that in there.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that when we talk about the old Dungeons & Dragons movie on Patreon. Because, oh my god. There are like 6 characters in that, and no one does anything. Anyway, here, not only did all of the characters have something to do, they also like they didn't just have that one moment where their powers were useful, and beyond that, they even got, not all of them equally, but they all got like character development, and we got like their little moments emotionally as well.
Yeah.
Talking specifically then about Holga going to meet her ex-husband, who divorced her while she was in jail. And we had and it wasn't like played for comedy, it was actually kind of tender. And he explained why. And it made her think about, or well, not at first, but later think about who she is as a person.
Yeah.
But yeah, just in general then, like, you had Chris Pine, who's the leader. They explained him as a bard before the movie came out, but they never mentioned bard here. But bard is a class in fantasy role-playing games. And
maybe they just couldn't use the word.
Yeah. They kept calling him a harper.
Yeah, but that was a group of people.
I know.
They had the long explanation. It's basically he's basically just a bard.
Yeah, a vigilante bard, basically.
Yeah.
And then you had, Holga obviously being like the warrior or barbarian.
Yeah.
I guess close to warrior. Then you had the wizard, and you had the random like
the rogue.
Rogue / other magic user, the tiefling, who's whatever it's called, that they can shift.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people was annoyed that she shapeshifted into a owl bear, and they was like, "Oh, you can't do that in the role-playing game."
But why is that annoying? That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, but I was.
Is that against the rules?
It's a rules thing, because if you're it's called wild shape, I think. Again, if anyone listening to this knows the rules better than me, sorry, but I think it's called wild shape, and then you can only change into wild animals. And an owlbear is actually intelligent. You can't change into an owlbear. It's something like that. People were annoyed, and I'm like, shut up, this is a movie.
Yeah, it looks cool. They just wanted to have an owlbear because owlbears are awesome.
Owlbears are awesome. They're even more awesome in the
Jesus.
books. Yeah. But yeah, so those are also good that they had a pretty small group. There's only four.
Technically, there's
four
only
characters.
4, but then you have 2 side characters who are in it partially.
Yeah.
And the daughter, I guess 3 then.
Yeah. So then they could give everyone their moment, and they were all like useful.
Yeah.
Because the sorcerer, they needed a wizard, magic user, and they needed him so they could get into the vault, Not talking too much about story specific, we'll save that for the spoiler part. Yeah. But also they needed someone who could actually get them the information they needed. Someone who could change shapes and hide, among people.
Yeah.
Hence the Sophia Lillis character. What was her name?
Doric,
yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, when push comes to shove, you need a warrior. Holga.
You need a brute.
Yeah.
You need someone to fight.
Yeah, exactly. So all of them, even Hugh Grant, who was part of the group at first, not too much spoilers, he's part of the group at first.
Yeah.
And he plays basically a thief or a scoundrel or whatever. And he plays that role pretty well.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, the decisions he makes later in the movie make sense for that character.
Yeah.
As a role-playing character.
Same with, I do not know how you pronounce his name,
Roger Jean Pache?
Yeah. Who plays the pure warrior, I suppose.
Yeah, they even call him a paladin.
Yeah.
He's obviously, he's a knight, pure of heart. That's a paladin, basically. Yeah.
Right.
If you're going to go further, they fight for like a holy cause.
Which he sort of does.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's exactly that character. For those moments he's in it.
Yeah, it's all there. It's, and because you have these very, very, very defined kind of stereotypical characters, we talk a lot about formula when we talk about movies like this. There is a formula to follow, and they follow it perfectly. And when you follow the formula perfectly, it works. It's not groundbreaking. It's not unique. It's not gonna become like a classic or anything. But it works. The formula exists because it works.
And here's where my theory comes in.
People. Yes.
Why don't we use role-playing games more as the basis for movies?
Because
adventure movies. Because we've talked about that before. We don't have a lot of adventure movies.
No. Yeah, we talked about it last year with Uncharted.
Yeah, we don't have enough of adventure movies. Because they're amazing. Everybody can enjoy them. Well, you can have deep and dark moments. You can have funny and light moments. You can have action. You can have fucking people dying or whatever. You can have anything you want in an adventure, really. As long as you combine things. And role-playing games are perfect for that because they give you an adventure. All you have to do is flesh it out a little bit, and act it. Film it. There you go. Why don't we do that more? We have more of an original story than what most things today are.
Yeah. Well, first of all, this didn't need to be a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
No, definitely not. This could have been just Honor Among Thieves or whatever.
Yeah. That is just because
name brand.
We're talking brand recognition. Oh, it's Dungeons and Dragons. Ooh, it's Critical Role. I like to watch that. Even though I think I honestly think it had a negative effect because of the legacy of the Dungeons and Dragons movies.
I think it had a negative effect because a lot of people are going, Dungeons and Dragons, that's just for nerds.
Yeah, that too. Because even though that stigma has kind of faded, yes, not in general, but on the internet it has faded.
Yes, sure.
Because the internet / Twitter is very different from the real world. I know.
Yes, but in the real world, I can promise
people
you
still
that
think, yeah,
that's still nerds.
Role-playing games is for nerds.
Yeah.
However, I want to talk about that too. And the negative impact of role-playing games and like board games becoming more of a mainstream thing. But we'll talk about that.
Board games are different, though.
Not really.
Yeah, but I mean,
role-playing games is basically just a board game but with more stuff.
Yeah, but
that's how it started.
We could actually talk about that more in the Patreon. But I just want to mention battleships. There's a movie based on battleships.
Oh, well, that's not... No, okay, that's what I mean. Okay, whatever. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
That's not... that. I mean
that's why I'm saying
modern board games. Not
fine.
fucking Othello. Or, Battleship from 1940 or whatever. Anyway, like... You don't even need... You don't even need, like... role-playing games as a base for your storytelling. Like, because honestly, once again, I haven't played a lot of role-playing games, but I've played enough. I've played dozens of campaigns in my life. Long ones, short ones, whatever. Pre-written or just free-formed ones. And, like, most people that I've had as like game masters or dungeon masters.
Yeah.
Me included, the very, very few times I have led a game are not good at storytelling.
Do you really have to be though?
If you're making it up yourself, yes.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to.
If you're doing like a pre-written adventure, it's always a little bit better, but not much because the game master still has to like fill out blanks.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
And connect things. So like role-playing games are really just like a collection of like ideas and like. Oh, I want to have a dragon fight here. Well, then you can actually pick a dragon that they have in their bestiary.
Yeah,
like that. Like what you need is really just someone who's good at telling stories. If you want to make more movies like this,
sure. But I'm saying like you can use if you take a generic Dungeons and Dragons adventure. You take the main plot points, like they go there to pick up that thing, they go there to fight that person, and they go there to finish it. And you have the basis.
Okay.
All you have to do is fill in the blanks, like you said. You have to add in a little bit of mishap, I suppose, or story specifically. But you have like certain points, and all you have to think about is, okay, how do they get there?
Yeah, but that's just...
what you have to write then, and then you have to write. How do they get out of there and end up in this place?
Yeah.
So you have there's a word for it. Yeah, but there's another word for it that I can't really think of. You have a base. You have plot points to work around, which makes it easier. I mean, I've tried it a few times because in gymnasiet when I was 16.
High school,
yeah, I suppose. For those 3 years, I studied literature. So we had to write things, and that was something.
Studied writing.
Yeah,
literature is
It was a bunch of other things course. As well, but it was a writing course at points. Yes. Yeah. So we had to like if you point out 3 things or 4 things that are happening in your story, all you have to think about is how did they get there, and how did we get between them.
Yeah.
And you have the basis of a story. Sure, it's difficult to write all the small things in between, but if you can keep doing the bigger things, you're narrowing it down. Eventually, you don't have much left to put in. That's what I'm saying. A Dungeons and Dragons campaign could be a great start for a story.
No, but that's the thing. No, it can't because most role playing campaigns are terrible.
Oh,
yes, not the pre. Not well.
Because in this one we had like 3 plot points. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
but this is not a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. This is a movie. It's very different. Like most Dungeons and Dragons adventures or role-playing adventures or campaigns is a series of adventures. I've never actually learned what the difference is, because a campaign is technically just a world that you put adventures into or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Adventures. Game sessions.
Yes.
Are usually full of unnecessary detail.
Sure.
Way too many battles, because, battles are the fun part where you get to roll dice.
Yeah.
But it's
Make
so
decisions.
drawn out, like fighting one enemy can take an hour, because you sit and everyone has to roll their fucking dice, and you're like, whoa, what do you do? Well, I do this and this. Oh, it fails. So what do you do? Oh, it fails. Oh, what do you do? Oh, it fails over and over again.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Well,
if
the
you want
we did work pretty well.
yes, and you know why? Because I mostly railroaded it. It was basically just me telling a story, and you were inputting your personalities into it.
But you must have had certain plot points that you were working around still.
Yeah.
The bird thingy that I don't remember what you called it.
You should sit down with some more experienced players. It is a slog. In 3 hours you get nowhere. It takes so long to do anything in a role playing game. That's why an adventure like this. If you would take this, they should probably, I don't know if they had that already, but they should release this as some sort of promotional material. Release it as a pre-written adventure. It would be like 5 4-hour sessions to finish it. That's how long it would take to tell this story in a role playing game.
Sure, but then
that's why role playing adventures don't work as movies.
No, but that's when you're adding in the die rolls and the failures. In a movie, you can edit out the failures.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
I'm saying we have to get the helmet. We have to take it here to open the vault. Shit, that failed. We have to find another plan, and we do this plan, and then we succeed. Yeah,
this is how I wish role-playing sessions were every time I play them, because I that's also comes down to the players.
Obviously,
not too many of my friends listen to this. I'm sorry.
You're bashing them,
but I actually talked to them about this, and this is my problem with role-playing games.
Attention span, right?
Attention span, or just the fact that nothing ever for me role-playing is supposed you're supposed to play a role first of all,
of course,
which usually we don't. It's just I am this. It's more playing a class, but you're not acting the characters.
Oh, but you have to think like the characters, otherwise what's the point?
I don't know.
Again, I'm thinking about the one time I played a role-playing game. I was like, I'm gonna think like this. I was a doctor? Yeah, I was a doctor of some sort.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like a doctor of this race with this specification would think.
Yeah.
Or trying to, at least.
Yeah. But then also, once again, and that's the problem with game masters slash letting people who play role-playing games or not writing in general. I put you the few times I actually put you in scenarios where you had to do things. Like I said, my adventure was very railroaded.
Yeah.
I inserted dice roll in unnecessary stuff, because that was the only times I had any dice rolls. Getting the ship to start was one thing, but whatever. I tried to put you in situations where your abilities were necessary.
Sure, but that's what a game master has to do, though.
That's what a good game master does.
Yeah, you can't just throw. In this case, you can't throw a doctor into I don't know, a fucking random starship fight or something. Because what's a doctor supposed to do there unless it's healing people?
Yeah.
You can't make him a soldier all of a sudden.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if you're talking about the movie anymore.
Nah,
whatever.
we're way past that, but still.
Yeah, I guess
we'll
we're
get
talking
back
more
to it.
about writing adventure movies. I think we're talking too much about role playing games. But sorry, we'll get back to that.
We'll
sorry.
round it off.
Yeah. When you try to write, yeah, I wish it was as easy as for this movie.
Yeah.
But look at other examples. Like I said, the most recent one, I feel like Rogue One.
Yeah.
You have different characters. You have of course, the blind karate guy. You have the big burly guy with a gun. Then you have the pilot, and you have Diego Luna, or whatever his name is, playing the assassin, or the scoundrel Han Solo guy, and then you have the girl who plays the lead character. But none of them do anything specific. They don't have a specific role. I mean, they have a specific role, but they're never utilized for their specific characteristics. They're just there. They're just bland characters. They don't do anything.
Sorry, I had to look up which one this actually is because I don't remember it.
You don't remember Rogue One? No, yeah. That's what
Not at
Star Wars
all.
has become. You don't even remember the movies anymore.
I remember the first 2 trilogies, and that's it.
Exactly.
Everything after that is bullshit. And I don't give a fuck.
Thank you.
Sorry.
And that's what I mean. That's usually what you get in adventure movies. You don't have specific character. You have a bunch of characters because you're supposed to have characters in your movie, but they don't do anything.
No, a character needs to have a reason. Otherwise, why the fuck are they there?
Exactly.
You know what I mean.
Why are they there? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. English.
Here, they did that.
Yeah.
They were different characters with different personalities and characteristics.
And arcs.
And they were utilized. Their character traits and their abilities were utilized.
Yeah.
And the story was built around that.
Yes.
That's what you need to do. You need to have characters and then build a story around that. Instead of having a story and put characters in it.
Yeah, which Dungeons & Dragons did very well.
Yeah. And which a lot of game masters don't do. They have an adventure and then they ask their friends, do you want to be in this? And then yeah. And then they all pick different characters. Or, they write their own characters or pick classes, whatever. But then,
I guess that's the difficult thing about a role-playing game. You kind of have to... yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah. But you need to mold the story around the characters, but usually, at least I'm sure there are great role-players out there who don't do this, but with most of the people I've played with, they then... they already have a story or picked an adventure or whatever, and then you have all the characters, and instead of molding the story around the characters, they just take the story, and usually the characters don't have their specific moments or can utilize their skills specifically. And
if you have a group of role players that you usually of players that you usually play with, don't you know what their main character normally is, so you can write a story around that?
No, but well, that's
normally, not always.
That's in the campaign. Yes, if you use the same character over and over and over again in several adventures, then of course you can write stories around those specific characters.
Yeah, but when it's new, or
if you start new, maybe I played a warrior last time, but I want to be a bard in this one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You don't. Yeah.
That's why we play video games instead, because then you can choose your own character, and the video game works its way around it.
Well,
there's issues with that as well. But...
Usually, the main character. That's another thing. Pre-written adventures, or adventures in general, when it comes to role-playing games, are general enough that if you play a thief or if you play a wizard, doesn't really matter.
No.
You can make it through with both, which defeats the whole point of having a role.
Yes.
However, sorry.
Dungeons and Dragons
felt like a story built around the characters.
Yes, and it definitely worked.
Yes.
All the characters took place or had their moments. They all developed at least some.
The one that had the least development, which surprised me, because it felt like that character was going to have the biggest, well, not the biggest, but more development, was Sophia Lillis Doric. Because she was like she obviously has the coolest power of being able to change into different animals and beasts. They introduce her as having like joined a group of like freedom fighters.
Yeah.
Which I really thought that was going to come into play. Like, there's more than just this, we fight for the freedom of the land, classic, the world is bigger than you, simple thief. And then you join a cause. But they never did that.
Not really, no.
What she learns
is to trust humans.
Is to trust, humans / learn to trust people, other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually humans.
Yes, that's the plot thing, humans, but she learns to trust other people.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. It's not. It's just they just say humans because it's fantasy then, and she doesn't trust humans. She doesn't trust other people.
And she does say some humans.
No, yes, now you're nitpicking. I mean,
I am.
You're being autistic. That's the point is not for her to learn to trust other humans. The point of the character is to learn to trust other people. She doesn't trust other people.
Sure.
That's the story beat. The plot beat is humans. Yes, but story and plot is different. We've talked about. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, her whole freedom fighter thing. I thought that would be more in it as well. Yeah. The green, whatever they call themselves.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Green phalange. I don't remember.
It was Emerald something.
Yeah, right. That was it. I thought Justice Smith's character probably had the biggest arc.
Yes, he was the cyborg of this story. Hey, if you want a story built around characters where everything makes sense, watch the Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh my god. Sure.
Oh, shut up, Rebecca. You know I'm right about that one. That is a 4-hour movie where every character has their thing to do.
Yeah, but it's 4 hours long, dude. Fuck that.
You can cut it up in like six
perfect thing chapters. About this one. It was 2 hours and 14 minutes long with credits. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's just over 2 hours.
Yeah, perfect. Jeez.
However, I gotta say the ending felt a little rushed.
Yes.
Because then they're like, we still need a big threat.
We still need to tie off this little thing that we talked about. Shit. Yeah. But they solved it in a very I liked the way they solved it because it was very easygoing almost.
Yeah.
Can we spoil it? Are we deep enough?
Oh yes, we've been talking for almost an hour already.
Right.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have to edit this or if people are going to tune out. Either way, yeah, I think we should get into spoilers because we need to discuss the ending. Then we need to have spoilers. Spoilers. If you stop listening here, it was just a really fun, lighthearted adventure. This is the kind of movie you can watch over and over again because it had fun moments, and I
would highly recommend for anyone.
Yeah, it's rewatchable. Yes, exactly. 75 Metascore maybe is a little high, but it's definitely
that might be the what's it called, the like straightaway reactions, like yay, going out of their hype and happy.
Maybe. But yeah, definitely check it out. This should do better at the box office than I think it's gonna.
Oh yeah, I mean we
don't know yet.
Monday, so
yeah. I get the feeling this is gonna flop, which I don't know yet.
In box office,
yes. Yeah.
Streaming, however, over a year, it might do well.
Yeah. So, but if we can have some impact, it is to say that go watch this movie. It's great.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, spoilers.
The ending. It's a bit of a cop out, but it kind of worked.
Yeah, because the trailers made me think that the lady Sophina was going to be like the main bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
And that the whole thing was going to be like, oh no, she's going to destroy the world with this artifact we gave her. But that's not even in the movie.
Nope.
That dialogue is from like a deleted scene.
Yep.
The whole thing. Should we talk about it over a drink? Yeah, let's do that. That's not in the movie. I thought that was going to be in the movie because they stand in that place, but they cut that part out.
Yeah.
And the plot in the movie is not, we got to stop her from taking over the world. It's literally, our old thief friend, like stabbed us in the back, took my daughter. Well, I guess he grew fond of the daughter.
He was actually asked to take care of her. So,
Yes.
I mean, he did do his job there. He just did it a little bit too well.
Yeah. So
He turned her against her own father.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this whole... The movie doesn't start good, though. It starts with a horrible 10-minute exposition dump.
Yes.
Which, I get it, but it was terrible.
It was a little bit confusing as well.
Yeah.
It took me a moment to realize, like, oh wait, we're not in the movie yet. We're still talking about what happened before the movie.
Really? He says...
A little bit, yeah.
Let's go back. He literally stands up and...
No, but like you said, I thought that would be the movie, but then we're back in the cell and, oh, right.
Oh, no, that would have been even worse. Because then there are no stakes. You should never start a movie. I know. You should... There are a few movies that use whatever it's called, stilgrepp. To let's go back to the beginning when they're sitting, they're bloody in an interrogation room usually. You're like, so they lived to the end?
Yeah, you might wonder how I ended up here. No, don't tell me. Just go on and what happened after instead.
Yeah, so they have the whole thing where he talks about basically how he became a thief.
Yes.
How he ended up where he is in the beginning of the movie. That's when it works, that the actual adventure is after.
Sure.
Because
but at first I was like, shit, this is going to be the movie.
Yeah, the movie starts in a prison, and he's telling his story because they have like an annual like pardoning session where you can be pardoned and let go. And he tells the backstory then, how he met all the characters, and how he lost his wife, but managed to save his like infant daughter, blah, 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 blah. And there they like sneakily introduces the big villain, the Sofina character, because she wants them to do a mission to go get a thing. They also introduced introducing a lot of the like world building like that was good, but it was it was a terrible way to like give your character motivation.
Yes,
but they do introduce like the red mages, or the thanes as they call them.
Yeah,
or if that's two different things, I don't know.
The red priestess.
Red mages.
Is that what they said? Red mages, maybe they said that. I don't remember. The red wizards.
Yes, red mages. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so they introduce that MacGuffin thing that she wants.
Yes.
And they introduce they introduce Forge, Hugh Grant's character, who is actually the main bad guy in the movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that before he gets caught, while they're getting that world-ending MacGuffin for Sofina, he tells Forge to take care of her. So now when they get out, he has managed to weasel his way in to be like the governor or mayor of Neverwinter, which is a town in the Dungeons and Dragons world, the Sword Coast.
Sure.
Talking about all the places were from the actual lore.
I assumed that.
Yeah, that felt like fan service, but I'm like, you have to use places that are in the like. If you're there's so many towns and like things from the books that you have to use that. You can't just make up your own at that point.
No, when you have that material, just use it.
But it was like
fine.
It was like in the span of 10 minutes, they mentioned like Baldur's Gate, the Sword Coast, Neverwinter. I was like, oh god! I can just tell some people who was gonna go like, yay every time.
If they had skipped the name recognition, they would have had to skip those names as well. But you could literally just, Neverwinter, Always Summer, or something. I don't like just change it. It's not that hard. You can think of something.
Yeah, so it was fine.
It was fine. They did also, however, because Safina's MacGuffin was almost parallel to the other MacGuffin that Edgin wanted.
Yeah, he wanted a
resurrection tablet.
Resurrection spell thing. Yeah, because he wanted to bring back his wife who died because of a mistake he made. Classic.
Yes.
Classic.
Yeah.
So all that was set up, and I was. Yeah, I thought it was like you said it first as well, like, he's going to tell the story of how they ended up here. and this movie's going to end with them breaking out of prison, and that's a sequel bait. But it wasn't that, which was good. It was, however, annoying. There was like 10 minutes of him explaining what could literally be another movie. I was like,
yes.
We'll just make this movie first. That could have been a smaller budgeted movie to see if people actually wanted a Dungeons and Dragons movie. And then they could have made this movie. Honestly, that could have worked.
Yeah.
To introduce the characters and then give them a bigger adventure in the next one, which would have been this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like I said, they sneakily introduce that the final boss, the world-ending thing, sort of.
Yes.
In there. So when it comes back in the end, it's kind of out of nowhere because it's like, it feels like there's 10 minutes left of the movie. It kind of is 10 minutes left of the movie.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's not out of nowhere because it has been there all along.
It's a little bit of a that thing that they showed us for 5 seconds in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Are they gonna...
And then talked about at one point within the middle of the movie somewhere when they met Zenk.
Yeah. And then we see, Sofina talking to...
Forge?
Rasmataz? No.
Oh, no, her friend?
Zam. Ras. Bam. Something. And you're like,
yeah,
oh, that
I don't
guy
remember which one.
that they mentioned very quickly in the exposition dump. Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, because how the movie seemed to end, I was like, oh, so that's the sequel stuff.
Yes.
They got out of Neverwinter, but now in the next movie, Neverwinter is going to be, taken over by red mages, and they have to stop them, because technically they are still responsible for giving her the MacGuffin. But no, instead, they've saved the daughter from Forge. They took, redistributed all the money he stole from the people, which is all very classic. It's basically like a Robin Hood story.
Oh, yeah.
And that was also very nice. That it wasn't world-ending stakes. It wasn't
not for them.
Yeah. No, not for anyone.
Well, Safina's backstory was kind of world-ending, but no one really knew about it, so...
Yeah, but she's not a main character.
No.
She's the villain.
Yes.
I mean, it's these characters... It could have ended for them there.
Sure.
And that...
They could have left and been happy.
Yeah. But then... as they're leaving, she gets her hands on the thing. She basically wants to kill all the living people. Her group of red mages hates the living because they're undead or something. I don't know.
They're necromancers or something. I don't know.
Something, yeah. So she literally just wanted, to gather all the people in Neverwinter, the big city, gather them in one place so she could kill them with the red mist thing.
Yes.
But then they realize that and they're oh, that was a thing we stole for her. All right, I guess we'll have to go back. And then they instead of just fighting her, they do fight her. But instead of having a long fight where they kill a bunch of CGI minions, they actually cleverly save most people by just getting them out of the arena before she manages to kill them with the red mist. Because they take all the money, which they already stolen anyway, and just throw it out in the city so people run away from the arena, grab the money. Kind of funny though how they just managed to grab one of those balloons out of nowhere.
I think it was just floating around though.
Yeah, but how did they get up there?
No, but it didn't have to. Because they used the other portal thing and they don't have to be too
they
close.
weren't I thought they were in the balloon.
No. Well, they just did the Heather Nether thingy. They got close. Yeah, whatever. They got close enough to put the portal on that one, and then the portal on the ship, and then it all.
But what if
worked out?
But what if the balloon was just circling the arena? What would have done then?
I think they cut it loose so it would fly away.
We didn't see that though.
No,
that's the thing.
That's just
all of a sudden they were just in control of a balloon that threw money around so people left the arena.
They weren't really in control of it. They just wanted it to disperse things outside of the arena, and it was already outside of the arena.
Yeah, so they just happened to pick one that didn't go over the arena, but away from the arena.
Thing is, I think we only see the one, though. So I think it is just that one.
Yeah.
And it was posted outside of the arena.
What I'm saying is, it's a big gamble, because it could have gone over the arena. They should have shown them.
Sure, it could have.
Grab the balloon, get in the balloon, and then do it.
Yeah, but then they had to add a bit more.
Why are you defending this, but you're clanking down on Chris Pine's acting? I don't get it.
That was plot convenience that worked.
No, it's terrible. That is kind of plot convenience you don't want. Like, oh, they just used a balloon. Something you can't
I think
control.
It worked because they showed us the balloon. They showed that it was just floating around at one point.
Yeah, just floating around.
And
what
then
if all the money ended up in the arena then?
But they showed us the balloon outside of the arena.
Yeah, but what if... Yeah, but it's...
What if when it got loose, the wind
around.
would have blown it... I don't know.
That's what I mean. That's why it's a bad convenience.
Sure, fine.
Thank you. No, but I mean... Like,
I get it.
Convenience.
Sure.
And it could have been changed if we just saw them in the balloon. I thought they were in the balloon.
They didn't. They could have just disturbed. They could have just, I don't know, thrown out treasure somewhere else. They could have made a noise and people would have looked and, oh my god, treasure!
Yeah,
they would have run that way
better?
instead.
They could have had like a horse and carriage with the hidden thing on and just rode
Instead
around
they had
the city
a boat.
like, grab the money, here you go.
Yeah, if the whole thing where they would have gone away with was the horse and carriage, that would have made more sense. But no, they had to have a boat for some reason.
Yeah. Well, they had a balloon for some reason, so.
Yeah.
I saw her. Okay, whatever. But then after that, of course, yes, they fight her.
But it's a controlled fight.
It's a very small fight.
It's just them
yes.
versus her, and she has one minion for 1 point.
Yeah. That's it.
One of the few dragons.
And it is a lot of punching, but once again, every character uses their ability. Like, they're all useful in the fight.
Yeah.
Which was wonderful to see. Like, how everything was always built around their abilities.
Yeah.
And around their personalities. And how they all had moments to shine.
Yes.
In every situation, almost. It's great.
Yeah, I think except for
the fact that it's kind of like just hastily thrown in there in the end. Like, sure, like we said, they had hinted about the whole Sofina wanting to kill everyone throughout the movie, but not.
Yeah.
We don't really see her make any plans. And then, literally after the story's over, they stopped Forge. They got the daughter back. Then they're like, "All right, this thing as well. I have to go back." That was like, ah.
Yeah, but they threw in a secondary reason. It's for Edgin to keep his promise to Zenk. To disperse the riches.
Oh, I didn't ask you about that. That was the one thing I missed. What was his promise to Zenk?
That he would, instead of keeping the riches, like a common thief, he would disperse it among the people.
Okay. That was the one detail I missed.
Because you slumbered.
Yeah, I fell asleep at one point, and then I asked you, what did I miss? And you were like, well, this happened. And I was like, I
saw that.
I literally fell asleep for 5 seconds. I was like, where am I? Okay.
I was gonna say, there's one point where Edgin doesn't have anything to do really, and it's when they're in the underworld thingy, under nether, whatever it's called.
The Underdark.
Yes.
Yes.
He was just there to be actually saved at one point.
Yes, but once again,
that's not true. He is the one who comes up with the way to get out of there.
Exactly. He's the guy with the plan.
Yeah, he does make a random plan.
And we should talk about that then, because that's the thing they make fun of in the trailer, and that scene is in the movie. When Doric asks her, so what's your role in this group? So, well, I'm the guy who makes the plans. They're like, oh, but we already made the plan, so why are you here? Well, I make up a plan if the plan fails. Yeah. So you make up plans that fails? But no. That's the whole thing that a leader does. A leader has a little bit of all the other people's, like, abilities. Not specific, but, he is strong, but not as strong as the warrior. He is smart, but not as smart as a sorcerer. He is agile and quick, but not as agile and quick as a thief, or in this case, the druid or wherever she is.
Yeah.
But he has all those things, a little bit of all of them, so he can think out plans for what's best for how he can most perfectly utilize the abilities of the other of the group.
Yes, he not only does he possess part and like know how to do some of it, he knows his characters, he knows his friends well.
Exactly,
so
that's what I mean.
Specifically, yes.
And without him,
and he can think on his feet.
That's what a good leader does. He sees the best in people. That's what he does. I mean, this is
because it's not planning to fail. It's adapting if failed. Because you need to be able to adapt if something unexpected happens.
Exactly.
Which no plan is perfect.
Yeah. And
by her comment, so you make up plans that fail? No, but no plan is perfect. There can always be a wrench thrown in there that changes everything.
Yes.
And that's when the leader has to adapt.
Yeah, and that's
change
what he...
the plan.
And we've had that character is also a very formulaic, classic leader character.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a video game, so it's different because then you are the main character. But look at Mass Effect. Especially the second game, where you really have, like, the final mission that you're collecting characters for, and then you have to utilize them in the best possible way. First of all, to make it, but also to make sure they don't die. You remember the suicide mission in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a classic example. Because I can't think of one in movies all of a sudden.
Well, I guess the Suicide Squad is one, but it's a terrible movie in general, so I don't really want to talk about it.
That's another recent-ish example of, like, where not all the characters have anything to do in that movie.
No, not all of them.
What the
There's
fuck
too many
does
characters.
Captain Boomerang do in that movie?
Not much.
What does Rick Flag do in that movie?
I don't remember who that is.
Exactly. What actually does Killer Croc do in that movie?
He's muscle at one point. Well, they're all muscle.
They're all muscle, yeah.
Never mind, that was a bad example.
No, it's a good example of why adventure movies like this with different characters usually don't work, because they don't think about what the characters are there for.
They forget to have strengths and weaknesses for specific characters. They just go,
cool character. Yeah. What the fuck does Harley Quinn actually do in that movie? Nothing.
Thing is, they develop her to have certain abilities that they never use, though.
Yes, exactly. They don't use her abilities.
They don't utilize the fact that she's acrobatic and shit.
Yes.
They only utilize that she's a woman and she's pretty.
Yeah.
Fuck you. In Dungeons and Dragons, they utilize all of those characters and all their specificities and all that stuff.
And he has that leader ability that when everyone seems to give up, he doesn't.
No, he's the best.
What's Justice Smith's character called?
Simon the Sorcerer.
Right, Simon the Sorcerer, which is that must be a reference to the video game series Simon the Sorcerer. It just has to be.
It's also probably just because it's a funny stage name for him.
No, but literally, it's like a at this point I guess I've forgotten, but it's a legendary video game series about Simon the Sorcerer.
Oh,
so it's an old point-and-click adventure series. Either way, yeah, it has to be. It has to be a reference to that. So yeah, when he, because his big thing is that he is very what do you call it? He's meek. He's like, I don't have great abilities. I'm not good enough to be a good.
He's not confident.
Thank you. He's very self-confident about.
Yes, and he's yeah, no, he's just lack of confidence, really.
Yeah, lack of confidence. So but he is technically, he's the only sorcerer they know, so I guess we have to go with him. Also classic that it's a ragtag team. It's not the best of the best. Yeah. But then when they need a magic user to use that helmet that can dispel any magic spell, which they need to get into the vault, they're getting into a vault to get the riches. He's the one that has, of course, then use that helmet, but he can't because he's too weak.
He doesn't believe in himself.
Yeah.
So the helmet will, what's it called? Like, reject him.
Yeah, but then, finally, when he understands it, it was not specifically because Edgin tells him, like, no, this. He does tell him, but he has to realize it on his own later, which he does.
Yeah.
And then,
but it is funny that
then we have the scene where Edgar's like, "I told you."
Yeah.
Like, hey, it did work in the end.
He does literally tell him, "Well, you perform best under pressure, so fuck it, just go. You'll figure it out when you get there."
Yeah, exactly. And the whole thing, like Sophia Lillis' character Doric, she doesn't really want to join the group because she doesn't trust humans. Which we needed a little bit more backstory on why she doesn't trust humans.
No, they tell her straight away, because she was kicked out of her parents' home because she was different.
Yeah.
She was a changeling. Is that what they call her?
Tiefling. It's a
no,
specific...
but they used another word at one point.
Yeah, shapeshifter or changeling or something.
I think she's a changeling.
I think changeling was supposed to be like a slur though, like oh you're a filthy changeling.
Yeah, probably
like the fantasy equivalent of the N-word or something. I don't know.
I was just thinking changeling. Isn't that when like
changeling
trolls
is
and shit switched out the babies?
Grab your baby and give you a troll baby. Yes, that's what the changeling really is.
So maybe that's what she is.
Something like that. But then, once again, what I mean we need a better backstory is because there was this whole untold backstory of the Emerald something, like
yes.
freedom fighter
the Emerald
group.
Enclave!
Emerald Enclave. Trying to fight, Forge and his
Deforestation.
Deforestation, yeah. That would have been the classic, like, if you want to give a political message in your movie, this movie is actually about the destruction of nature. But they never went there.
No, and I'm kind of happy they didn't.
Oh, I'm happy too.
They just threw it in the end that like, and the real leader of Winter Forever, whatever it was called, Forever Winter, what was it called?
Neverwinter.
Neverwinter. Neverwinter. He was like, no, but of course we're not gonna kill the forest.
Yeah.
Here you go, we signed the
Yeah, but what
treaty.
I mean is that usually in movies like this, that becomes like, if not the second story, even the main story it becomes.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, there's more to this life than just stealing money. Thieves, you gotta help a greater cause.
Yeah.
They have that there, but it's never... They don't ever do that. It's just in the background. So, they should have almost cut that completely then, because then you're just waiting for that to be part of the story. It's like, what happened with that?
Again, that could have been another movie if they wanted to.
Yeah, but then they just... Oh, he woke up and then he signed a contract, so no more deforestation. The Emerald Enclave is not protected by Neverwinter. Yay! Okay. That's also another thing we should talk about. I get the feeling that they really didn't trust that people would like this movie.
Yes.
And that it's going to flop, which I still think...
It might.
It might flop, because it is so... Oh, Dungeons & Dragons fucking nerd movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were like, we have all these ideas for how we can, like, turn it into a franchise, into sequels. And the producer's like, nope. You're making one movie.
Yeah.
And that's it. So they're like, okay, so we have the Emerald Enclave, but we gotta wrap that up. We have the Red Mages wanting to kill every living thing in the world, but we gotta wrap that up.
Yeah.
And also tell this smaller personal story for Edgin and his crew. Alright, let's just explain away all those other stories. But now, hopefully...
I both like it and don't like it.
Yes.
I hate sequel bait.
Yes, of course.
And any sequel that is a separate story that works in a vacuum is always preferable. Which any sequel to this movie could be.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly...
But it is weird that they had those storylines that never really got to be fledged out and finished.
Yes. However... They could still do the whole Zamtham story about the Red Mages. They just killed one Red Mage.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happened with that artifact, the MacGuffin thing she had. Or do we see what happened to that?
I don't think so.
We don't really see where it goes.
No.
So the Red Mages
we just see her get really angry, and then all of a sudden she's fighting them, and things not there anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, the Emerald Enclave, yes, the Neverwinter guy...
Zastam. That was his name, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Ramdam, Jam, Sassafras. Yeah, whatever. And the Emerald Enclave could still be like, yeah, he signed the contract, but, this thing is still happening, so you can still build something from it if you want.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
And honestly, I hope this movie gets sequels. This is, like we talked about in Uncharted, which was unfairly judged.
Yes.
Because it was like this, it was lighthearted. It was less characters, but the characters had things to do still.
Yeah. It's a movie you can watch whenever.
Yeah, you can listen to our episode on that. I think that movie was unfairly judged for some reason. People thought, I don't know. People don't seem to like adventure movies. Either way, back to this. I hope this is the kind of movie where you can make sequels.
Yes.
Because it's not like I don't know, like, it's not like Alien, where you have it's not a high concept movie, it's a character driven movie. So you could just make another adventure with Edgin and Holgan gang.
Yeah.
And you could do different things, like, oh, this time they were saving his daughter, but the next time they could be kidnapped by a king in a foreign country, and he says, "You have to get me the thing," which was kind of the story in the backstory here. Once again, that should have been a movie. Whatever, and just play to the strengths of the character. That is where I'm like cautious. We should be cautious about sequels because lightning might not strike twice.
No.
The next one might be too generic, and the characters don't have anything to do.
To be fair, though, we do have a moment in this movie where there are other groups of people, of heroes, who are not, they're just random characters in the background, but that means there are other groups of adventurers.
Yeah, you can just make
another group.
Yeah, an unconnected sequel about other...
Yes,
but then
in the same universe.
I was going to say, but then it has to be Dungeons & Dragons movie. Yeah, they're all going to be Dungeons & Dragons movies.
Exactly.
Sorry.
They could technically even reference that thing. They could be we survived the maze because of that, or whatever. I don't care. They can mention...
I think everyone died except for them, though. Just saying.
Probably. It doesn't have to... Okay, fine. But they could mention that they heard about the red mages in the Neverwinter place.
The world of Dungeons & Dragons is full of adventures.
Yes.
Like, there's not just one hero. It's not like Conan where there's just Conan.
No,
it's a world full of different adventures, different heroes.
Yeah.
That's where role-playing is good. Like, you can just make shit up.
Just throw in anyone else, and all of a sudden you have a new main character. There we go. We can have one with Ryan Reynolds being the main character.
Yeah, he's a new Edgin. He's called Bedgin. Yeah. And his I don't know, father was killed. Just change it around. That's what we always talk about. Write new stuff, but take as much inspiration as you want from other things.
Exactly.
So here, though, we're saying write sequels, which is not new stuff. But like I said, this is the kind of story where you can make sequels.
Yes.
We just want more fun stuff with the characters.
Yes.
I would love to see a sequel to this.
Yeah, as long as they're separate adventures that don't have to have connections to the previous adventure, except for the main characters.
Well, it could even be like connected to this, like we said.
A little bit, but not too much.
Like, see where it builds on this.
Yes. Like
we said, they mentioned the Emerald Enclave. They've mentioned the Red Mages. Maybe they're going after. I'm not saying this story was wrapped up. It has to be a new story. Yes. But I guess they'll build upon what happened in the last one.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. It's not chapter 2.
No, exactly.
It's another one. Yeah. It
was wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And it would be wonderful to have more of these adventure movies in general, to be honest. I just want adventure movies. I want
more stuff like this.
Yeah. More dungeons and more dragons and more magic and swords and...
Sort of general, but fully fleshed out characters. And, a dragon or, maybe a big monster or something,
Yeah, obviously it's doable. You did it now.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Just gotta see... the official date, by the way, is March 29th. So it's tomorrow.
Oh. How do we...
I don't know. I think they're just... I think... Because, we were going to watch this on the 29th, tomorrow. But then when we went and saw John Wick, we noticed that, they're doing a sneak preview the 23rd. We won't be able to catch that because of work. But then I just randomly looked at the ticket sales for this movie, and it wasn't like one sneak preview the 23rd. No, they just started showing it the 23rd, and then just kept showing it. So we went and saw it yesterday, which was the 27th.
Random screening.
Yeah, I think just like I fear that this was going to flop, so they were like, we're just going to release it early, so as many people as possible are going to watch. We're not going to wait to release this movie. We need to release it now so we can sell more tickets.
Yeah.
That's how I, think.
I agree.
Something like that.
But maybe it'll surprise us when it actually premieres. Maybe a lot of people go see it and watch it, and they'll talk about it, and it becomes really big, and then we get more adventure movies in the future.
Maybe, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
I just wanted to look up what this cost. Well, it wasn't
It's
like
expensive.
it wasn't mega budget, but it was still huge. It was $151 million. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of sad, but that's like in the lower bracket for AAA movies nowadays.
Yes.
Like the big ones cost like $300 million to make nowadays. That's insane. Anyway,
Well,
yeah.
they did fine with what they had here. Jesus Christ, the sets are amazing.
That's another thing, yeah, that we haven't talked about, because this episode, like a lot of episodes, has been all over the place.
Yes.
Um,
I think one point that I like go, oh, that's a green screen.
yeah.
And what is it? Was the when you saw the Neverwinter in the distance. That's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's when I thought it looked kind of cheap. Because I was like, it's very pretty and very well made, but I can tell that that's not real.
Oh, okay. No, I never really had a moment where it felt fake. I mean, obviously, dragons,
all of it's fake.
Really.
Yeah.
What surprised me was how much was real. Like, there's a lot of real sets in this.
Oh, yeah.
And I might be wrong, but it felt like the scene with Bradley Cooper was like done, classic forced perspective, like in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Because all those sets seemed real.
Yeah.
And when he interacted with Michelle Rodriguez, it was like, felt real.
Yeah.
Like pouring tea for her and stuff. They did a lot of the same things as Frodo does for Gandalf.
Yes.
I wonder if that was like a slight reference as well, pouring tea and everything, because it was a forced perspective thing. I don't know.
Possibly.
Oh, sorry. I was just reading it was a Screen Rant article about the Dungeons & Dragons, the budget. Yeah, 151 million. Sorry.
I think we're running it off here, though.
Yeah, I think so too. We've been babbling on, but because there was not one specific thing you could focus in on here. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was more about. This was more about like how do we like. So we have one good movie. How do we move on from this without fucking it up?
Yeah, exactly.
Last thing about that though. They can't build, like, a verse around this. They can't make an MCU or, a Dungeons & Dragons verse.
No. If they do too many movies and too often, it's still gonna water it down and ruin it.
Yeah, and also, that's kind of why I don't think they should make, like, the next one should be about other characters. Because then it's gonna be that they're building towards, like, a big event where all the characters meet up. No.
Oh, no.
Just make the next one about Edgin and Holga.
Sure.
And maybe they switch out one of the other characters or something like that, to have a new character.
Yeah.
They should follow... You know what they should follow? They should follow the Fast and Furious formula.
Yes.
Where it's just one... It's a series, not a franchise.
Yes.
Because Fast and Furious tried a franchise, didn't work, so they stopped. They made one spin-off and then nope.
They learned the lesson and went off.
Yes. So that's what I think, yeah.
Yeah. Talk about good movies.
Yeah.
So excited when we're done. Never mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. I just realized we never talked about why I think the whole mainstreamification of role-playing games is bad, but I guess we'll save that for the Patreon episode.
Yes.
So if you want to hear me talk shit about Wizards of the Coast and role-playing and Critical Role, check that out.
Check out the Patreon on Monday.
Yeah, or check out the Patreon.
Or whatever.
Yeah. But other than that, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next episode. But until then, have a good one. Bye. The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias and Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén and Laura Kinney. I also want to give a huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Mom, Dad, Laura Kinney, Danny Del Gaiso, and Mac and Mom.